Assalamu alaikum and hey y'all. I know it's hey y'all. This is Ramana Kerns-Muhammad. I'm the founder of Imagine You Consulting and the creator of the 5-Day Business Startup Challenge. I'm here today to talk to you about day 3. Day 3. I cannot believe we are at day 3. But I am excited that we're at day 3 and you are here back with me, because that tells me that you are committed and that you're on a mission to see this thing through. Mission. Actually, we're going to talk about missions in our assignments today, but I'm glad that you are committed to see this thing through. Well, I hope that you have completed the assignments for day 1 and 2, because as I mentioned before, these are build-on assignments, and it is very important that you not jump the steps, that you do it step by step. So if you've completed the assignments for day 1 and 2, they will have prepared you, and it's necessary. You have to have the information recorded from day 1 and 2 to be able to effectively do the assignments that are laid out for you here in day 3. And if you have done the assignments, you should have identified by this point a single product or service that you will launch your business around over the next few days. Now, before you go putting yourself and your service out there, there are a few things that you need to really consider before hanging the "now open for business" sign on the window, per se, on the virtual window, and start seeking clients. You need to consider if you're really ready, or what level you are ready for that to happen. Are you ready if you receive an overwhelming response? Have you considered the factors that would be impacted by that? If you are a wife and or a mother, have you considered that if you get an overwhelming response to the need for your service or product, what it could do to your home life and the time that you would have to take away from your home life, from your children, from your spouse? Are you ready for that? Or do you have a supportive home environment that is, that they'll be there for you to help you in this business endeavor? And you can't assume it. Now, you have to have the conversations with the people that your success in business or your failure in business would impact. If you, again, are a wife and, you're using finances that probably assist in your budget, or you're dependent on your spouse to produce extra income for you to see you through the launch of a business, have you had that conversation with them to see that, hey, what if 6 months down the road you're still having to carry, an extra load? Are you going to be okay with that? These are conversations that really must be had. You must assess the risk of overwhelming success or the risk of complete failure. What if you take money from, family sources or household sources, budget, or that money that is dedicated to any other source, and you're not able to replace that right away? What would be, the result of that, and is it something that you can afford to risk? And you have to look at the risk involved, again, with your time, with your finances and your resources, those are the major ones, but really look at, what you're putting on the line and figure out if it's worth it. If something were to go in the negative, we talked about it, we always say prepare for the best, prepare for the best, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And that's just, being wise, really. Okay. So, that is something that really needs to happen. You need to do a risk assessment to find out, how this would affect you, impact you, either to be overly successful, or if for some reason this first launch of yours or first try in business is a flop. Okay? So, after you've done that, once you've determined, the risks are worth it and that you're able to take the risk, you can go ahead and launch your business. Then you need to breathe life into it by giving it a mission. Having a mission statement is important in dressing up and presenting your idea to the public. Having a clear mission makes it easy for you to create copy text to promote your idea and attract ideal customers. And once you have, breathed life into the vision by giving it a mission, the next thing is to put a body or skin on it, and you do that by giving it a name. Once you name your product or service, it immediately becomes a sure enough, show enough, for real entity. It has an identity of its own. You can write the name on paper and begin sharing it with others so that they also have a tangible connection with it. It's no longer just a brainchild for you. It becomes a reality. And I know it can seem easy enough to come up with a name, but this is not a process you want to rush through. Trust me, you really want to think this out. I have given you some characteristics to consider in your worksheets. You have characteristics in your worksheets that you should consider when thinking about a name, for your company. But there really is a lot more to be said about this process. For instance, I would not suggest naming your product or service after yourself for a couple of reasons. One, again, risk is always involved in businesses. You're either going to fail or you're going to do well. And what if you fail? Do you want your name associated with, a failed business of some sort, going forward? Because people remember that. Names follow. And I'm just going to say this. What if your name is Katrina? And you say Katrina's XYZ. Yep, when I said it. When I said Katrina, what did you think of? Exactly. So who wants their name associated with a disaster? And if your company, if your opportunity, if the business that you launch doesn't do well, you don't want your name associated with that. So, I would really consider avoiding putting your personal name on something. And on the flip side, what if your business does phenomenally well and you have your name attached to it? There are sharks out there circling, trust me, ready to take everything you built. And it would just be horrible if you couldn't use your personal name publicly. And when I say that, think Prince, the artist formerly known as, before he, was able to get his name back. He couldn't use Prince in public. He was the artist formerly known as. Think Donna Karen. She built a tremendous brand and then sold the company, but she had to sell her name. So I'm just saying, think about that. Think about attaching your name. Other factors include limiting yourself geographically. Like I wouldn't say Bethesda such and such and such and such. Because what if your company grows to a point or your service grows to a point where you find yourself having to open a satellite office somewhere else? Okay, it doesn't make sense to call it Bethesda X, Y, and Z, and you're located in, say, Gaithersburg or wherever. Okay, and those are for those who are not in Maryland. Those are Maryland cities. I'm in Maryland, so association. And avoid using twists on spelling that make it hard for you to be found in public directories. And I can't even begin to think of, but like, quick. Some people spell it Kwik, but if I were to hear the name Quick XYZ Service, when I go searching, I'm going to type in Quick. You're never going to come up, So it takes, you really have to have big bucks, mega bucks for marketing and advertising to get your name out there when you use twist on words. And avoid using words that are so common that you could never take personal ownership of them. And a good rule of thumb also, before you actually settle on a name, deciding on a name, is to try a few options with your target market, and make sure that, like family and friends, or even via a short online poll, to see what they think of the name. Because again, there are characteristics in the worksheet that help you consider what should go into the name. You know, it should denote the service and things like that. And before you actually settle on a name, maybe it's good to try it out to see if people, to hear people's feedback or thoughts about the name. And while we're talking about short online polls and, maybe trying it out on social media, this is a good place for me to give you my plug. If you have not already requested, or you have not already joined the Facebook group, Sisters Mind Your Own Business Buddingpreneurs, I am going to ask you to go ahead to Facebook and join the group, and that would be a good format for you to kind of bounce some ideas and get some feedback about things like the naming process for your business. Good minds to kind of pick for that process. And also, if you and I are not already connected on social media, I hope that we can change that today. We're into day 3, and I've been hoping for the last 2 days. So now I'm hoping today, if we're not connected, that we definitely can change that. You can do that by visiting my website, www.imagineyouconsulting.com, and it's spelled completely out, Imagine You Consulting. You can find me on Twitter under the handle @Ramana-Muhammad. You can find me on Facebook, Ramana Muhammad. Or another option for us to connect online is with Instagram for just_cute_naturally. Let me back up. I said that wrong. Just_naturally_cute_things with an S. And that is my jewelry line. As I've mentioned before, I am a jewelry designer and instructor. That's one of my many gifts and talents, and one of the talents that I've actually turned into a business as well. So just_naturally_cute_things with an S. Hopefully you have caught on that the assignments for today are that we will be assessing risk, we will determine a mission, and we will name our business. And you have, let's see. Okay, yeah, those are the 3 assignments that we're going to work on today. And with that, welcome to day 3. You should find the worksheets you need in today's email, and I'll look for your request to join the Facebook group, Sisters Mind Your Own Business Buddingpreneurs, and hopefully see you back here tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.